everybody, welcome back to the VeVe Vault. It's Friday and yesterday was the DeLorean drop. I hope you guys did good. I'll show you what I got. You can see right here I got one of the ultra rares, one of the rares, and 3 of the commons, and I'll go through and show you guys how I got them. And let's go ahead and get started. So as soon as the drop began, I started off at the browse page. Any of the pages that showed the DeLoreans were good places to start. Like if you see the ultra rare sitting right there, it's hard to start off at the actual ultra rare page right here, because if you do it, there's no way to refresh it manually by pulling down on the top. And some people say it'll refresh by itself right at 11 o'clock for me, right at the start of the drop. But that's a little risky for me, so I always go back one page to one of those pages and I click on the one that I want at about 10:59 and 30 seconds. But I might start doing it a little earlier next time, maybe 10:59, right at 10:59 or 10:59 and 15 seconds, and then wait for it to load up. So what ended up happening this time is I clicked on it about 30 seconds before the drop began. I got into the ultra rare page about 1 minute after the drop began. So I was in there at 11:01, and then I had this screen right here pop up, like most people, and I clicked, whenever I clicked buy, this popped up, and it kept trying to reserve my order, and it tried over and over. I didn't count how many times, but I just kept getting this error right here, as most people were. So as I was doing that, I came over to the Facebook page, that one of the groups for VeVe that I like to chat with people on and get updates on. Discord's a little too much for me, so I stay on the Facebook chats. So during that time, I posted this to see how everybody else was doing, and if you read along, you can see that not just me, but everybody else is not able to get one. And I'm even putting down here, if anybody gets one, let us know. And I think for the first 15 to 17 minutes, nobody was getting anything. And during that time, VeVe tweeted this, that they're under a heavy load, and also that they still have lots of collectibles. So that might have came later, a little bit later when they tweeted that. About 17 minutes in is when I was able to finally get one. And the second I got one, a whole lot of other people started right after that started saying that they got one. So I'm not sure if for the first 15 to 17 minutes nobody was getting them, or maybe a few people were able to, but anybody that I talked to weren't able to get them until about 17 minutes in, and then they were able to start buying. After I bought one of them, I tried again to get a second ultra rare, and it came up with that same message, so I went ahead and went back for the commons. I know some people were able to get more than one ultra rare, some people were able to get 3 or 4, and some people only wanted one, and they just kept clicking, just trying to get that one. There's some error messages that kept popping up for people, and when that error message popped up, the order did go through, so people got a lot more than they wanted. Okay, and if you were following along in the drop the whole time, about an hour and something in, we got this message on the Discord from VeVe that they were going to turn the app off for about 30 minutes. That was about an hour 17 minutes into the drop, so 12:17 for me. And they turned the app off for about 30 minutes. Everything was running really slow. I couldn't get back into any of the other DeLoreans. I couldn't get into the common DeLorean page to buy one of those, or to attempt to buy one, or the rare page. I was able to get out of the ultra rare page and get back into it, but I tried a couple of times to buy a second one, and it never went through. So when this popped up for about 30 minutes, everybody waited, or some people waited, I guess. I'm sure most people did. And then after 30 minutes, it ran real smoothly after that, and that's when I was able to get a couple of the commons. Now I did get my rare before all that happened. I guess that rare page did finally load up, and my strategy for trying to get into those pages was to click on, for instance, the rare. After I got the ultra rare, I went back to try to get some rares, and I would click on the rare, and as it loaded up and you got the spinning time thing, I waited about 5 minutes, and if it didn't load up, I would back out and click back in to get into the rare. And I know that the time that it finally did load up, it wasn't like I had to wait 5 minutes or anything. It was a quick 1 minute load up. So after waiting a few minutes, you might want to back out and try again on those. And of course, like with every drop, there were still a lot of people who were not able to secure any of them, or maybe only able to get the commons and none of the ultra rares or rares. That's what happened to me on Tuesday whenever it came to the Mermicornos. So we're trying to figure out the best way to start these drops so that we're all getting the ones that we want. And it seems like getting into that app early, an hour or two early, at least an hour early, definitely is a big factor, and that helps a lot. I know a lot of people get kicked out of that app once they get into it and the drop starts, even though they were in early, and then they can't get back in. And that might just be an internet connectivity type of thing. Not really an explanation for that. Hopefully they'll fix that. And more importantly, they're letting people accidentally buy more than they want. You know, some people went into negative 200, negative 300 gems buying stuff that they actually weren't even trying to buy. They only wanted 2 or 3, or maybe they only wanted one of the ultra rares. So that's actually a good problem to have, as most people find out, because they're pretty easy to sell. Now, for looking at the prices on the DeLoreans right now, because there's so many, especially of the commons, like 50,000 of them, they're going pretty cheap for, like, if you look on the app, some people show that they're going as low as 32 to 40 gems on their app. So that's kind of the price that people have been following on places like Facebook as well. Although some people, of course, are trying to get 80 or 100, and I don't know if people are buying any of those, but I know that there's a lot of trading going on. It looks like the rares are going for about 100 to 200. There were 25,000 of those, and those are the static ones that aren't interactive or anything. And a lot of people are saying they like the commons better than the rares, but the thing with the commons is there's so many of them that they're going pretty cheaply. And the ultra rares right now, the prices seem to be going about 200 to 500, but you can find a lot of people who really lucked out and got a whole lot of the DeLoreans during the drop that are selling full sets really cheap. I've seen them going for as low as 400 or 500 for the full set of 3 DeLoreans on Facebook. And surprisingly, people are selling them that cheap. I don't think those prices are going to last very long, but I haven't scooped any myself. But, you know, I'm always looking for flippers to unload right before a drop or right after a drop. Right before the DeLorean drop, somebody was selling an ultra rare Corsica for 200, so I scooped that up. That's a really great price, and people are looking for that now. Just right as soon as the drop ended, a lot of people are asking who wants to trade for a Corsica. So the value of that's obviously going to be easy to flip and double or triple if I'm lucky. Now, as most of you guys know, a few hours after the drop, whenever the DeLorean started getting delivered, the first thing that people noticed is that the ultra rare wasn't interactive. We couldn't open the doors to it. People were trying to figure out maybe if you put it in the vault you'll be able to open the doors, but that wasn't working either. And then out of nowhere, about 10 minutes later, someone says, hey, you can drive the commons. So people are going around looking, can you actually drive these commons around? And sure enough, you're able to drive the commons. And then we found out you could drive the ultra rares too, both of the interactives. You can open the doors, close the doors, and you can drive them around. This is a video from my buddy Mr. Ting. He has a YouTube channel. I'll link it down in the description where he goes over NFTs and VeVe. And everybody is really excited about that. And some people, since the commons weren't sold out yet, say they went and bought a whole bunch more commons because of that. But about 15 or 20 minutes after that happened, all of a sudden you couldn't drive them anymore. You could still open the doors, but you could no longer drive them. So some people are upset about that, but in my opinion, I think this is a feature that they can turn off and on at any moment. There might be a couple bugs left with it that they're trying to work out. Other people think that these are not drivable versions and never will be. Those will be released later. I think if they have the capabilities that they'll turn these into drivable NFTs at some point, and they will be the first ever drivable NFTs. You know, maybe if they didn't show us that they could drive, maybe they wouldn't have, but now that the cat's out of the bag and we know that it's possible, it's probably going to be demanded, and they'll probably follow through with it, I believe. Alright guys, I want to do a quick rundown of a few of new NFT projects that you might want to look at or think about getting into. One of them that I learned about just recently is Terra Virtua, I suppose is how it's pronounced, and it's a really cool platform. I actually started the first Facebook group for it. I was so impressed with it and bought a few of their NFTs. They have some good licenses, like Godzilla vs. King is Godzilla vs. Kong is one of the biggest movies in America right now. They got Top Gun, which everybody loves, Godfather. I tried to get some of the Godfather posters, but they're all sold out. And they have these V-Flex, which I don't know a lot about, but they have different series, first series, second series, and the first series are supposedly pretty valuable now. These are items that aren't necessarily, if you look at the Godzilla vs. Kong NFTs, as cool as they are, they're not just selling out really fast or anything like that. So some people say, you know, this is like the beginning of VeVe, for example, where you got stuff in the store that's available to buy, but once it catches on, everything's going to sell out. Here, let's go ahead and look at some of my that I've picked up from here. Now, when you start, they always give you one of these. I think it's like your icon, and it's free, so that's no big deal. And I bought 2 of the Mecha Godzillas. One is numbered to 1,000 and one to 500. And they've also released Godzilla just recently. The 500 one came out yesterday. And they have another one for 30. That's numbered to 30 for, I think, 300 to 500. I'm not exactly sure how much it costs. I didn't buy one of those. But the Godzillas are coming out this week, and the King Kongs are supposedly coming out next week. Now, a lot of people don't know about Terra Virtua, but once they see the NFTs, they're impressed by it. They have sound, you'll hear them roar. The one that's numbered to 500 has a little bit of a different roar than the one that's numbered to 1,000, although they look alike. And they're pretty cool. And they have different sizes too, and I think one day whenever you're able to bring all of your NFTs together and you put your VeVe Batman next to your Mecha Godzilla, it's going to look like an ant. So I thought these were pretty cool, and I had to pick some up. Another one that I picked up was this poster, and it's actually only serial numbered to 60. It cost $75. These actually sold out pretty fast. And they have more like the Godzilla posters that just came out recently. But there's they have their own drop schedule, and they have drops every day, which is pretty neat. The next upcoming event is going to be a Godzilla drop, probably numbered to 30 or something. We'll have to see what that is. And then you can see where they have another Godzilla drop coming out later today, 6:15 p.m. And this will be the first time a World War Z NFT is going to be dropped on the page. So like I said, they do have a few nice IPs, and it hasn't caught on yet, so not a lot of people know about it. And the thing I like about Terra Virtua, it has its own coin, and its coin looks pretty nice, honestly. But more importantly, the product itself is pretty great. Let me show you the fan cave they have. Okay guys, this is part of the Terra Virtua environment. This was what you download on your PC. I think it's only available on Windows PCs right now, but they're working on the Apple one right now. They also have an app, but my phone is not new enough, I guess, for the app. Let's go ahead and start getting into this. And the Terra Dome looks really cool too. That's where you put the big stuff like the Mecha Godzillas in. But I'm having trouble getting it to load, as there are a few other people in our Facebook group. It gets stuck on 99%. We don't know why, but there are a couple people who have been able to get it to load by setting it to admin. So we're not exactly sure. Maybe they need an update on that to see what happens. But as you can see, the fan cave is really well made, and I heard the CIO or somebody talking about it the other day about how you're going to be able to invite other people to your fan cave and, you know, hang out and have fun together and rate each other's fan caves. And you can take stuff like this on the wall, and I can put my that Mecha Godzilla poster that I picked up that was numbered to 60, put it on the wall, and it's really cool looking to have some moving artwork and NFT on your wall. And I can't imagine, you know, having a whole room full. And then of course you can buy, they have the Top Gun helmets or little things you can see, here we go, that you can put up on your mantles and on your shelves. It's very cool. I don't know what, oh, it's Top Gun, of course. And then see, imagine having 4 different moving pieces of NFT artwork here. That'd be pretty awesome. Another new NFT platform you may have heard about is the one Tom Brady is working on. It's called autograph.io, and all you have to do is put your email address in here and you can get updates on it, just like the UFC Dapper Labs NFT project that hasn't started yet. And I have a feeling that this, since it's called autograph.io, is going to be the platform that Top Shot has mentioned, where somehow or another players and entertainers are going to be able to autograph NFTs. And I'm sure there's going to be some type of technology where that NFT is transferred to them, and somehow their digital fingerprint gets put on it, so you have an autograph from a famous person on your NFT, which is kind of a cool concept. So that's a good one to keep an eye on. I did finally get a couple horses for Zed Run, and that is really enjoyable. It's expensive to get the horses unless you can get into a drop, and even those are at least $100. I paid 230 for Edison. So since I had Edison, I changed my name to Electric Stables. Still haven't been able to figure out how I try to change my picture, but it's not working. And she hasn't won a race yet, but she gets in third place in 25% of her races. So she's won $60, but it's probably been about $60 in entry fees. And then I did pay $75 to breed her with a Z4, and on this game, a Z8 plus a Z4 makes your Z12, and I've ran this horse only 3 times so far, and she got third in one of the races, so I'm trying to figure out the best distance to run her at, but this is another game or another NFT platform to look at. A new one coming up that I haven't heard a lot of people talking about, although I have heard a little bit about the coin, is called Wax, and what I like about Wax is that it's with the Topps brand. Topps makes baseball cards, and if anybody knows collectibles, it's Topps. So I haven't looked a whole lot into this platform yet, but it does look pretty interesting, and knowing that Topps is involved makes me very interested, and I'm gonna start looking into it now that I've learned about it just recently. Okay guys, if you haven't heard, coming up next month on VeVe will be Jurassic Park. You're gonna get some dinosaurs, those would be really cool. Some dinosaur NFTs, and also Star Trek is coming out next month. I heard somebody say, and they put a link to it, so I didn't read the link, but it seems like they have proof that next Thursday's drop will be Slimer, the Ghost Trap, and Edo. Those 3 that are already in the store with the the cover over them, so you can't see what they actually look like. Those might be the 3 coming out next week, which is pretty cool because it's an ultra rare, a rare, and I think Slimer's uncommon, isn't it? I'm not sure, but that'll be a fun drop. Last but not least, let's take a look at our OMI tokens. We had a spike right before, this is the 4-hour chart, we had a spike right before the drop, the DeLoreon drop, as people expected, but a lot of people, including myself, kind of expected to come back down after the drop for all these people to be dumping, but I think because VeVe is looking so good and it's such a promising product, people are really impressed by the DeLorean. I saw on Twitter a lot of people saying, I just downloaded the app, how do I get one? Of course, they're all sold out, but you can buy one pretty cheap on the secondary market. Hopefully they will open that in-app market, and there's definitely confirmation that it will be open for everybody next week, so that's going to affect the prices too. This is how many OMI tokens were burned during the drop yesterday, and it's quite a few. I don't think that burning tokens is going to affect the price until they have to start doing the rebuys, but I could be wrong about that. I'm kind of new to cryptocurrency in general, but definitely to the tokenomics of deflationary tokens, or whatever they are. Alright guys, that's your VeVe Vault for Friday. Everybody have a great weekend, and I will see you on Monday, I think.